black man standpoint is like a superhero, and I'll explain why. He was Dr. Howard McCurdy. He was from Jamaica. No, sorry, he was born in Canada. Family was he was like fifth or sixth generation Canadian family came from the Underground Railroad, partly from the States, immigrated to Chatham, moved from Chatham to like I didn't know. When I came to Canada, I thought everyone was first and second generation. When I met him and he was sixth generation Canadian, I was like, damn, there's sixth generation
Black man,
Canadian.
white man.
Black man. Anyways, he was the first.
It's so funny.
Right? Nah, I didn't know there was such thing, right? I'm like,
I'm like,
where you from?
Sixth
I'm like,
generation black
right?
man.
I'm like,
And this is the first time you're in a
right? I'm like, where are you from? He's like, I'm Canadian. I'm like, where's your
This is the shit.
Where's your grandparents from? Canadian. I'm like, okay.
Where they from?
Where they from? Canadian. I'm like,
you guys are so dumb.
right? And I'm like, I didn't know this. So anyways, going back to Howard McCurdy, he was the first black MP.
Yeah, because
Yeah, he was the first.
Ale's been waiting 60 minutes to get a word.
Yeah. But anyways, in the short of it, he was the first black MP. He was one of the first black tenured professors in University of Windsor, right? And
where you were your position?
Yeah, I was the vice president of finance for University of Windsor Student Loans.
The way he's trying to
I'm
say
gonna
it.
shout out, eh?
And I was
yeah, I did not.
But he mentored me.
But just between us, I was.
Hold on. Look. He mentored me, and I ran for city council. Keep in mind, I only went to University of Windsor. I just went to University of Windsor, and then I stayed there for an extra 2 years because I was working at TD and whatever. So then now, imagine I'm not even from Windsor, and I'm like, you know what?
I'm running for office.
And he had my back, and he said to me, and this is something really interesting, and I'm not throwing any shade at any, I'm not making divisions or whatever, but I said to him, like, yeah, I'm gonna run, and he's like, wow, that's good, I'll support you in it. I'm like, yeah, just teach me the ropes. We talked about strategy, different things, and then he said to me, he's like, you're African, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, and he's like, that makes sense.
I said,
Right?
I said,
Right? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you know what? The people who are fifth and fourth generation Canadian, they have like a chip on their shoulder. Like they feel like they're not able to really thrive in the system. Whereas people who are African, they come from a country where they're seeing other black people who are succeeding, and they assume that
it's attainable.
It's attainable, right? So he's like, you don't have
anything holding you back.
You don't have anything holding you back, and I attribute that to the fact that you're first generation Canadian coming from Africa. And I was like, wow. I'm like, I never really thought. And it's one thing for a white person to say that to me, but for like a black man whose family came from the Underground Railroad, who are very, very, very much involved in civic leadership, who has his PhD, for him to be like, oh, the reason you're confident is because you're African. I was like, what the?
What does that mean?
What does that mean, right?
I don't want to know what that means too.
You're from another place with all black people that doesn't know truly what's happening in this environment, and you come in here with a clean slate, and you know what's up. That's because.
But I was born here, so I'm still like.
No, it's your family.
Yeah.
But also, I want to tell you something about you.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And I mean this as a compliment. From when I met you, I don't need it. But from when I met you, you've always been stubborn. You've always been your own person.
Yeah.
And I think what you need to do is know how unique you are to the black experience, because not everyone has the resiliency that you have. Like, you know what I mean? To experience all the racism, people beating you up, and still have as
and
many
still
white
going
friends.
with weights on your shoulder and still
I'm
going.
Still be like, oh, I'm gonna talk to white people. I'm gonna do that. People don't have that resiliency, and to be honest, they shouldn't. You're a special person. I think I'm not saying don't have it. I'm just being realistic, because I feel the same way. Let's put a white person that's poor. They're gonna have the same struggles as a black person. The problem is, at the end of the day, they're black. Because there are a lot of Africans that are like you in Rexdale, but there's a lot that aren't. So I just feel like you feel what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no,
I really want you to realize that.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that my experience is not the dominant.
It's not typical.
It's not typical.
But you're a Disney story. Which is sick.
Do the hard work.
Yeah,
do the hard work.
Yeah, but yo, that's what I'm trying to. Yo,
But even
You-
before hard work, man, even before hard work, and I'll just say,
Go to your notepad.
Yeah, yes, yes.
You got some stuff to talk
no,
about.
no,
Yeah.
no, but check this out.
So
Even
nice.
before hard work, the mentality, like he said, right? Because same story for you, same for me when I was in Brazil. I left Nigeria when I was 17.
That's why you have that
Okay.
accent.
I went to Brazil.
Was so
I started
confused.
working, bro. I started working when I was 19. When I was 26, I was director of a company in Brazil. We had like at least 14 offices in like 6 different Latin American countries. Cut the long story short, all the black people in Brazil that saw me were like, "How did you do it?" I'm like, "How did I do what? How did you grow?" I just worked. Like, you can do the same. And they said the same thing I said. Oh no, because here for black people it's not the same.
Ignorance is
da, da,
bliss
da,
sometimes,
right?
you know what I mean?
And I'm like, that's fine. So now I'll give you a question. If you have a kid, I have 2 kids, right? Bro, kids, they try to walk, they fall, and they keep on until they walk. Why? Because everybody around them is walking. Right? They don't have any doubt. Okay, let us sink in. They don't have any doubt that they cannot walk because everybody else is walking. So now the question is, who are you watching when you say that this guy is different from you? This guy was exposed to black people succeeding, and maybe on this side you're not exposed to that, right? And then that's where you can talk about the system, you can talk about media, you can talk about TV. Who are you watching? Because and then that's where what you said about the influence. So that's where successful black people need to use their voice so that other people can see them and then
Have a role model.
have a role model. So that's where.
But that's what I'm saying now. That because it's so sorry. But remember when you were like, sorry, no, sorry. I'm just so I'm so thin with it.
Right
No,
down.
no.
Sorry. So
Enjoy.
that's where when you said
Hold the mic, at
sorry.
least, bro.
When you said what the fuck did you say? I can't remember what you said, but okay, go. I'll come back in a second. Sorry.
If you come back, just write it down, okay?
Thank you.
Get it live.
Thank you. No, because I'm trying to make a point. So that's where, like, people like you, people like me, or whoever that, because it's the same thing. Like, we're exposed to different reality growing up. My mom never made me feel for 1 second that I couldn't do anything in any area of my life.
It's
And
true.
Your
for
mom's
1
the same.
second.
My mom's the same.
My mom is Brazilian, eh? And she met my dad. They went to Nigeria. She was in Nigeria for like 32 years, whatever, right? So now, another scenario for you. You might be racist or you might not be racist, right? This is just for you to have a thought. If you own a language school, okay? All your students, you're a black owner, eh?
Mhm.
All your students are white. Okay? The only way you feed your family is through the school. And then you employ a black teacher and you see parents putting their kids out of school. So technically speaking, you're making less money. Technically speaking, your family is getting less food on the
Can you say
table.
that part again? Sorry.
So if you own a language school and all your students are white and you employ a black teacher, and the moment you do that, your clients start pulling out their kids.
Yeah. Okay.
You have 2 options. It's either you put all white teachers and keep your family with food on the table, or you defend your principles and you might lose your business and your family might be on the streets. You don't have to respond. Just let that sink in. And that's how you see. Same thing with Starbucks.
And
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
So at the end of the day, there's a very thin line between, what you want to follow and survival, and there's also a very thin line between
Money talks and wanting to achieve your
See,
goals.
but this is the
and there's
thing.
also a thin line between what you're exposed to as growing up, right? And then everything ends up making sense, right? Like this guy is talking about what he's exposed to, and then what are you watching? And this guy's talking about his own reality,
Just
right?
make notes.
So yeah, here you go.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm processing.
I mean, it
what
was
you
about-
said.
You want to
Okay,
rebuttal?
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
let that thought
So something.
play around because that's reality.
So what really resonated with me in that scenario was the fact that
Which scenario? Be specific.
when
This teacher one.
he's speaking about the teacher, is that your livelihood and money are now dictating your actions, right?
That's
And,
So
and,
you
that's
feed your family.
and that's the truth for many people.
But that's
right?
life.
So
until
now
you get to the point where you're like,
understood. But now, if we know, like using that same scenario, if you said that you had all white kids as students of your school, and you get a black teacher, and now you're losing students and losing parents, right? now you have to make a decision of, do I want to maintain my livelihood or do I want to stick to my principle, right? Now, flip that on its head, right? And pose that same question to the majority, right? One little black kid or one little black family don't make huge waves. But when you have 20,000 people in the streets, right? Boycotting a Starbucks, boycotting different businesses, supporting specific businesses, now it's not just people who are angry and shouting. Now it's people who are making financial moves that impact the livelihood of the majority.
Of course.
And that's what I'm saying is that they're like, yes, we have a shitty card that's dealt, but right now it's not what happened to me. It's where do I want to go, and what can I do to make the next step. If the kid is falling, he wants to walk. His goal is to walk, and what his focus is on is being stable in every step. So, and it's the same thing. If right now we're being marginalized and there's not respect from, like, you're not seeing Chinese kids being brutalized by police. Why? Because Chinese communities have a lot of money behind them. Chinese people buy politicians. Chinese people, they actually import.
Can I say something?
What was it? They import
This is
people
actually pretty
and
interesting.
businesses. And if you think about it, why is there a Chinatown in
In
every
every city.
single city?
I'll tell you
Why
why.
is it? And the reason is because what they do is they focus on entrepreneurship. They put businesses in and they live above. And then they sponsor more families. And they do it strategically.
Do you know why?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Speak to it.
So there's a book, 1440. You want to read that book?
This one I'll write down.
You want to write that down. The name of this book is 1440, the year China discovered the world. China were the first guys to create ships. They were the first guys, for the same reason, to create maps. Okay? China has a lot of history. A lot of people don't know about this. China used to make trades with a bunch of African countries. Europe was totally out of the game because they didn't have anything to offer. I'm going to just go really superficial about this because there's a lot of details. China has been in the game for a long time. China has a lot of organized history. Bless you. Which
No
makes
corona.
sense. No corona?
Yeah.
Okay, this is my last video.
So
Shit.
stupid.
That's messing up. China has a lot of organized history, which kind of explains why they are the way they are today. According to the book, right? Because it's a very interesting book. And now we are where we are as a race. And over time, we'll probably get to where we're supposed to be. And everything that's going on now is part of the movement that is pushing us as a
Facts.
race, forward, right? China has a lot of organized history. Now, think about it. If it was the other way around, right? If we had ships, because China would go and trade with Africa, they would go with guns and they would go with stuff. And they'd be like, do you want to trade or do you want me to blow your head off?
Oh.
And they obviously want to trade. They didn't go to take anything, they went to trade. They would get seeds of stuff that grew in Africa that didn't grow in China or whatever
mafia
not.
tactics.
So yeah. And then according to the same book, there was a time where lightning struck a temple, China shut down for 100 years, and they gave a map to one of the priests at the time. This is very superficial, read it up. This same priest used the same map to get to Africa and to spread religion through slavery.
Knife and Bible.
That's something that wouldn't have happened if China didn't close their borders based on their own beliefs.
Is this a true story?
Yes, this is based on the book.
Okay.
This is a book that's 1440, the year China discovered the world. If it was the other way around and Africans, if we had the ships first and we went and we had the weapons, most likely based on survival because if we felt we didn't have enough, probably we would have done the same thing to the whites. And they would have been the one, I don't know. We don't know. Possibly.
You know.
Possibly.
Say with your chest.
We don't know. No. You can't say.
No, I know.
You
But
can't
I'm
say.
saying, like,
But
I
if
get
Europe,
what you're saying.
if Europe, small, not having all the things like in terms of resources, Africa.
It's a bully story, pretty much.
Yeah, in terms of resources, obviously Africa has more than most of the world, right? Just based on nature.
Minerals.
Yeah, based on everything. Colonization happened. It could have been the other way around. And China is where they are today because of organized history, which we don't have yet.
Speaking of colonization,
It'll happen over time, right? That's just how I
Thank
see it.
you. No, I totally agree with you too. But that's what I'm trying to say.
But then the movement is part of the evolution, right?
But that's what I'm trying to say with like when it comes to like the thing that you're saying about like we need to do more. It's gonna happen with the education, with you, with other people, with us. Like that's how
Leaders.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know what I mean. We didn't have these leaders before, so I can't look at the past and be like, oh, they were not strong enough.
no,
The
but
social media wasn't out there. We didn't have the videos. We didn't have all this stuff. That's why this movement now is so powerful.
Laying the
Like,
foundation.
you know what I mean? And also, I wanted to say something because you guys said something about your mom. My mom told me I could do whatever the hell I wanted to. I learned it myself as a kid. Through my experience, I couldn't. So like
Oh, via racism.
via racism, I had went to my mom at like 15 and I said, "Why'd you lie to me?" So like it had an opposite effect. And to be honest, mostly for black people, it has an opposite effect than what it had with you guys. Because I'm telling you, there's African Nigerian guys that like I have one of my youth.
No, of course.
No. I'm
But
saying,
you-
like on a consistent basis that feel that like their parents are like, yeah, but
But do you think it's false hope? Like, you think your
Yes.
mom, when she said
Yes.
that, you think
Yes.
your mom like lied
yes,
to you?
yes.
Ah.
I had a conversation with her. To be honest, as a grown adult, I had a conversation with her about lying to me and how that didn't help me because I wasn't prepared for life after 19 due to the fact that
that's
I was
interesting.
due to the
Yeah,
fact
it is actually.
Do you think it would have been
You know what?
better?
You know
think it
what
would've
my
been
mom?
better if she
You know what
lied
my
to you?
mom used to say to me as a kid?
sorry, I'm
She
done with
said,
the chair.
she
I'm
said
back.
in these exact words, she says, as a black man,
You gotta work double.
you gotta work doubly as
See, how do I
hard
know?
as your white counterpart. She said, you're gonna have to work doubly as hard, but you can have anything you want. You're gonna have to work. And you know what? It's actually interesting.
How did it make you feel? I just want to know that.
It made me,
And did your mom? And I want you to know.
Yeah,
Did your mom?
I'll
it
talk about
promoted,
it.
for me, I guess it's different for other people, but it promoted resilience in the sense that I expected struggle. So when I go into something and something happens, I'm like, okay,
An obstacle.
that's an obstacle. I'm not looking at it like, oh,
This is
it's not for me. I expected it because I was always
Kept
like,
you motivated.
yeah, it not really kept me motivated. It kept me, because if somebody says, yo, you're going to stumble over there and there's an obstacle course over here and that person's going to be racist and that person doesn't want to see you succeed and that person doesn't want to see you succeed, but if you push through, you get where you want to get. That's literally what that's how I was raised. My mom was like, it's going to be hard. And she's like, you're going to have to work double as hard as your white counterparts, but you can have
Follow-up
it.
question.
Mm.
So okay, now here's my follow-up question. I get it for
That's
you,
exactly what she said.
and I get it for you, right?
Yeah.
Now my question is that fair though? Is that right? And that's my bottom line question.
It's
Just
not
because-
right.
It's
so then,
definitely-
but then
it's
if
not.
it's not right
Yeah.
though, we shouldn't be looking. This is my point to like both of you, everyone. If it's not right, then it's not fair then for us to be like, hey, black people, you need da because then that we're putting that's what's happening. We're like putting all this weight that's unfair on black people when at the end of the day we need to be like,
See,
you know what? I get you. Look, raise up.
No, I hear that.
Raise up. We're
But-
going to raise up.
but
Raise
think-
up.
but
Like,
think-
you know what I mean?
but think
Rather
about
than
this.
being like, you have to raise up.
Okay, but
because
think
it's
about it
not
this way.
fair.
Think about it this way. Think about it this way. You're courting a girl. There's a girl you want to
I was
talk to.
gonna
You want
talk
to
about
check a girl, right? The girl's gonna put you through obstacles, right?
No.
He's like,
I'm dead
no,
serious.
no.
I
But
will never, like, I went in a 10-year relationship that was freaking racist. You guys know who I am. You guys probably know what that is too. So it is what it is. I will never, if I have a son, he will never. Because he will never put a girl through, obviously, like, obstacles in quotations.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like,
Yeah,
in quotations.
yeah, we're not
No.
talking racism about
No,
Not
no,
racism,
I'm
but
not saying
yeah,
that.
not talking
No,
about
but like, there's girls that would be like, you need to do this, and that, and loops, and all this stuff to be with me. I tell my son, hell no.
No.
But that's
Yeah.
racism then. So if we're gonna be equal, if we're gonna make things equal, then we're gonna say the girl's saying, okay, the only way you can date me is if you handle my racist family, you buy me shit, you act like this, you do this. Even when I'm wrong, you need to tell me I'm right. Even this is what it is.
Doesn't that apply for all?
no, it doesn't apply
All
all the
girls?
way. But the
No,
thing,
not the one.
No, but
Just so that I know and just so we know.
the thing is,
Do you get what I'm saying though?
yeah, okay, but okay.
But that's a no
How-
10 out of 10
who
times.
here- okay,
But that's what
10
I'm
out
saying
of
about
10
racism
times.
then.
yeah, but no, this is what I'm saying. The thing is that going back to Io's analogy with respect to
And I want you to answer
the
this.
black
Yeah, yeah,
teachers,
I'll talk
the
about
black teachers and the the black teachers versus having white teachers and having white students and that kind of thing. At the end of the day, everybody needs to make a livelihood, and everybody is working to earn money to do things, right? And the thing, just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? First you start off with your safety, right? First you start off with shelter, food, safety, esteem needs. Then you move up to socialization, right?
Look at you, smart boy.
but
I'm impressed.
the thing is that in order for you to motivate somebody who has no empathy for you, you need to appeal to something that they need. And 9 times out of 10, I don't have to like you. I'll give you an example. I have the worst clients. I could tell you, like, there are clients who, if there wasn't a check at the end of this, I would
I'm not doing it, yeah.
smack the shit out of them. I would tell them about themselves. I could show you on my phone, I've written responses to stuff people have said. Long responses that you would be like, damn, I can't believe he said that. And I just don't send them. Right? I write it.
Bite your tongue and
But I
get the
don't-
job done.
Yeah, but I suck it up because I gotta get I suck it up because I gotta get a check at the end of the day.
Gotta
Right?
make sure nothing gets damaged. I
Right?
understand.
Yeah. So I suck it up.
I got a shorty to after
Yeah,
this.
but I'm saying, I suck it up because there's a check at the end of the day. So somebody can be racist. Somebody can be racist,
Yeah.
right? Somebody can be racist. Somebody cannot like you. They cannot feel that you are entitled to something. But if you're holding their check, they're gonna smile, they're gonna nod, and they're going to treat you differently. Now we need to figure out. So now we need to put ourselves in a position where we're holding the check, and that is why that's why Jewish people, Chinese people.
But you know, Jewish people got help, right? If Jewish people didn't get help, I think they'd be in the same position as us. I'm gonna be honest when I say that. And almost in the same position as us. I think they'd be like the Middle Easterns. That would be Rexdale. I'm gonna be very honest when I say that. But they got help, and then they're able to change their name,
How
and
do
they're
they know?
lighter than the Middle Easterns. So at the end of the day, they're able to be like, yeah, I
They're kind of invisible. They're
Yes.
invisible.
So I don't think the Jewish people. That's an example of how life's not fair. How did black people not? We didn't get no money. We didn't get no money. And to be honest, fuck black people for a second. Shout out to the indigenous. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest.
Yeah, indigenous people are
So-
they got it hard, right?
So
Harder than black people.
But-
But going back to the whole thing is that we right now there's a lot of momentum, and
Keep your foot on the gas pedal.
keep your foot on the gas pedal and move in a direction that is going to that is gonna have sustained growth. You don't want to rah and then fizzle out and have nothing.
Yep,
please,
right. I
right?
want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I said too much, whatever.
Yeah.
But you guys have talked about pretty much, the marches, and you did it. And I think whatever, as a white guy seeing what's going on and wanting, obviously, I have a lot of black friends to succeed and to be treated equal. I think what Tosin said before in terms of the whole boycotting Starbucks when that happened, I think that the black community needs to do more of what
That.
the
Now
Jewish
that-
community.
Oh no,
100%.
What the Jewish community's done, you've seen Italian in construction,
And
you've
support
seen
ourselves.
Indian people, and
we
you
didn't know
guys.
we could.
But I think that this kind of
We're very
this
competitive
voice-
against each other.
And there's a reason why.
Thank you.
and not, but you. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes people need to let the guard down.
Okay, speak to that.
Hold
I want-
on.
yeah.
Once,
You
listen,
wanna hear-
like Jordan's gonna buy a house, maybe go to him instead of whoever. You know what I'm saying? You need a loan, maybe go to him instead of going to a non-black person or whatever. Because if you guys, like I said, keep that money. You said circle 6 times with the Chinese
Yeah, man.
community. You guys need to help yourself as much as you
They
can.
put it in their brain though to fight each other in a sense because of the system in a sense. But you're gonna go, please. I know you're not shitting.
Go on.
When you say they put it in our head, right? Okay, I'll tell you something very interesting. There's a very interesting difference between, and I'll tell you for South America just because that's where I was that's where I'm from mainly. There's a very interesting difference between South America and North America. In South America, people like you, but they don't trust you, and I'll explain why. And in North America, people trust you, but they don't like you. We can go to Brazil today. We can go to a park and we can play soccer. And once we're done, if anyone there has a large house, we're all having a barbecue in his house. he doesn't trust any of you guys, or we're gonna have a barbecue in his house.
A white guy?
Oh, forget about
Nah,
race.
doesn't
This
matter.
doesn't have anything to
Doesn't
do. I'm
matter.
talking about, and I'll explain what you understand where I'm getting. Here in North America, I can meet Tosin today, and we can have a real estate deal. He doesn't like me, but he trusts that just because not me, like just the way the system is. I trust this guy. We can do business together, but I don't like the guy, regardless. But then he's never going to take me to his house. Here, you meet someone for the first time at his house. It's not as common as back home. Point is, the reason why black people, like you say, system, they're like, they don't trust each other. Bro, we're already by default in survival mode.
Jesus.
Okay? By default. Somebody that's in survival mode is going to do everything to get the best out of the situation.
No, keep going.
My
You're
friend.
speaking the truth. No, I'm loving what you're saying. Please, please.
Check this out.
Please.
Somebody that is in survival mode is going to do the best. He's going to do, and it's going to be selfish. I don't want to do business with someone that's going to do whatever.
Yes.
So if you're selling me a house, or if whatever the case may be, because I'm in survival mode, and that's the image that the media's thrown out, and it's not far from reality, I may give you fake documents.
Amen.
And that might be your reason to not want to deal with the black guy. You're not racist, but you know that by default, in general,
It might happen.
these guys are in survival mode, as opposed to
People
white
that-
guys or Chinese guys
Amen.
not being in survival mode. So you're not going to think, oh, this guy might give you a fake document, even if he might. But media doesn't show you that. Reality doesn't show you that, or whatever you choose to see.
Mhm.
Now, if I'm surrounded by, or not necessarily surrounded, but if I'm looking at successful black people and all that
Give
stuff,
the context, because you're saying giving you fake document. You're speaking from
Real
a
estate?
banker standpoint.
Mortgage or what?
oh yeah, like fake document in terms of income,
Yeah.
like fake income.
You got a mortgage.
Now
Yeah, so get a mortgage.
And
Yeah.
two, Corona.
Yeah.
Keep
When
going.
does it become more than 4?
Yeah.
I don't know how he's wearing a tank top. I'm cold. I'm like freezing.
No, but just so you see, like, that's why it's difficult for, like, the black community and all that stuff to because there's this lack of awareness.
Yes, sir.
And
Trust.
but
Yes,
then there's
yes.
no trust because I know, like,
He's surviving.
bro,
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, that's true.
there's a lot of survival mode.
Yeah, there's
So it becomes
there's
it,
distrust. There's
it
distrust.
becomes
They
tough.
don't have the bottom. So
It
they
becomes
don't have
tough.
the
And
bottom.
then now you have to decide personally.
Right?
I have to decide if I want to trust this guy or not,
Exactly.
and if I want to break what my own survival mode is telling me.
Jeez.
Because me, I'm trying to survive, and I'm trying to do the right thing, because I'm in a position to do the right thing. My other guy is trying to do the right thing, but he's not in the position to do the right thing. For him to get out of that place,
Mm-hmm.
you know how they say you have to do some wrong things to get to the right place?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's where it is. I don't want to be part of it. I was there. I don't want to be part of it anymore. So then I don't do business with this guy.
Just trying to be better.
I don't want to do business with this guy because that's where he is. When you get out, we can talk. And then that's where there's a conflict. And then you say, oh, I'm not doing business with this guy because he's black. No, it's not because he's black. It's just, I can't. Make sense?
Yeah, because you do stupid things in survival mode. Like, for example, I did fraud because I wanted to impress my Italian girlfriend. So I'm like, fuck, I want to do this stuff. So I'm like, I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. Like, I was shaking when I was doing the fraud. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, just what you said is amazing. Like, like, like,
Yeah, it's
you know,
survival mode.
you know your stuff. Please say this stuff though.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
I
get
question.
to you get to that. then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So I feel basically over time, number one, and creating more awareness. Obviously, I don't know what the solution is. This is just from my own ignorant standpoint. I'll tell you, I don't feel like I've been a victim personally of racism.
In this
I don't want
country.
to say at all or a lot.
Ever.
Not because it has never happened, it's because I'm not exposed to what it is. So when it happens, I don't see it as racism. I'm just ignorant in that sense. If somebody treats me like shit, for me it's because you're ignorant, not because you're racist. For me, ignorance comes before racist. So when I look at you, I don't look at you as a racist. For me, you're just ignorant or whatever. Maybe you got a bad day, bad moment. That's where it ends. For me, I don't go deep, and for me, it makes my life even way better, right?
Easy,
Great
yeah.
for good.
Yeah. But then, like I said, over time, creating more awareness, people that are successful, the more you speak, the more you voice out, the more people watch, the more people you inspire. And over time, Chinese, Jews, whites, whatever, there's an organized history, registered.
Of helping each other.
Of course.
Yeah.
of helping each other, of doing things, of being successful, and then it becomes so over time. Everything, even having this conversation, is part of
That's what I say.
creating awareness.
Laying
Yeah,
the
no,
foundation and awareness, right?
Right.
I was gonna say, because I think at some point we should kind of wrap this up. I know we could talk all day, and if you
Yeah.
guys want to, we can. We
You
can
know too much.
we can continue this after our conversation, but what message would you guys have to the Black community after, because like I said, I know that obviously every racism, you guys have dealt with it to a greater or lesser extent your whole life, and more people have. But after this, the whole police stuff recently in the States, everybody's been a lot more emotional, even myself, and seeing, a man get killed in the streets. What's your message
You know
To the
what?
black community.
to the Black community first?
I think that right now, we've done an excellent job of mobilizing, of creating awareness, of creating, of enforcing accountability within our law enforcement and politicians. We have politicians kneeling. We have politicians, in spite of Corona, side by side marching with thousands of people because there's
Show of support.
there's a show of support, and there's a show of support. Now, I feel that we have momentum, and we need to use this momentum to create sustainable growth. And when I say sustainable growth, I'm not talking about like tree hugging or friggin' solar panels or shit like that. I'm talking right now, we know that if there is injustice or there is racism on a corporate level, we have the power
Yes, sir.
to make change. And I think that Starbucks scenario, we should have many more scenarios like that, where when there's injustice, we're putting people into account, and it shouldn't just be with Starbucks. We need to use this momentum to promote Black businesses. Right now, as a real estate broker, there's going to be so many vacant, retail spaces, right? Key locations that people don't know, people that would not have access to, places that certain businesses have had for 5-10 years. This is an opportunity where owners are on their knees. They're literally, they need rental. They have no, they're not collecting money. They're gonna be they're on the brink of power of sale, and they need entrepreneurs. They need people who can fill those spaces, and they need people who are going to pay rent. And now they're not going to ask you for your firstborn and all of these things. Now it's just yo, can you pay the rent? Yeah, okay, come in. They're not asking you for 5 years financial. Now the bar has the bar's dropped, and there's tons of opportunity. And now I feel in this climate, this is where we need to not only support each other to march, but we need to support each other in business. And we need not only to hold Starbucks accountable, but we need to hold ourselves accountable to spend and help our community, because at the end of the day,
to make our community grow.
Yeah, to make our community grow. We need to, because the thing is that the establishment, the government is trying have set up the system to bury us, but they don't know that we're seeds, and we need to plant those seeds, so that water those seeds.
Yes,
And
sir.
we need to grow those. We need to
I
grow
think we
and
planted.
harvest
I
them.
don't think we. That's the thing. I don't think we can grow and harvest.
Yes.
Especially harvest.
Yes, we're far from harvest. We're far from harvest. But the thing is, we've been buried, and we're seeds, and we need to nurture and grow
Amen, brother.
our Black entrepreneurship. And now, just like you said before, you're like, you didn't know what you're capable of. You didn't feel, you felt like the system was against you. We know that. We're aware of that. Okay. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to help to uplift, and we need to start focusing on entrepreneurship. If you're out of a job and the government's sending you $2,000 a month, or I don't even know. I don't
Yep,
get
2,000 ish, yeah.
2,000. If you're at
Maybe 2
home,
weeks.
if you're at home and you're chilling and you're getting $2,000 a month, you're making I don't know, but you're making $2,000 a month and you're just chilling at home. Come up with an idea. Come up with an idea. You thought about starting a business. You're already unemployed.
Yeah.
Create the
Man
business.
made a real cookie business.
Right? Create the business. Create whatever it is. Knock on the door of the place that just got boarded up.
Yes, sir.
And say, hey, I want to start something. Give me an opportunity.
Or just do it.
And then when you see your brother open up that door, open the store, patronize him. Go to his store. Buy his product.
Bring your money where your mouth
Bring
is.
your family there. Don't talk about racism. We're being racist towards our own self when it comes to spending dollars.
Not only that,
Right?
you're
And
emotionally
everybody's in
yeah.
survival mode. But the thing is that
I'll give sorry to call you. I'll give you a very simple example. No.
okay.
Hold on.
No.
That's in between.
I'm speaking to you, your case. I'm giving you a simple example.
Yeah.
Bro, there's a Jamaican spot that we go to
That
all
we
the
go
time.
to.
Okay?
And then
Bro, I'm not even gonna say this place because I go there all the time.
Alberts.
No,
But
that's where we
bro,
work.
but just
Lit.
but check
Yo,
this
the
out.
ox still there? Jeez.
No, speaking about Oxford, bro, the food there is inconsistent.
That's what you know.
The food is good. Monday to Wednesday,
tell me the place.
Monday to Wednesday is good. I'm just giving you an example. Thursday and Friday is not as good. The thing is that if I have a business and I'm running low on cash, bro, I'm not gonna buy less spice so that I can not run low because I'm not gonna go there again. And then does that mean I'm not supporting the black business? But then why are they cutting down the spice? Because they're in survival mode. And then I don't go back there, and then it becomes a problem.
Holy.
Yeah, but hold up.
This is a true
Hold on.
story, by the way.
No, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I'm generalizing.
But guess what?
I'm gen-
Okay,
I'm-
but I have an answer for that.
Okay, let me just
But you
let me land.
right.
Let me land.
Let me finish.
Let me just land. Because then,
Spend black, buy black.
Hey, you can't be Jordan. Someone going Jordan here.
but that's the thing. That's the thing. And I'm generalizing. Okay, everybody does that to some extent. People pour a little bit of oil on food from yesterday and tell you it's fresh. Whatever, right? As a restaurant, whatever you do, whatever you have to do. But in general, because of survival mode, that's something that mainly comes from our side.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because reality is we're in survival mode. So now I'm not gonna say because he asked what was our message. I don't want to dive into that. I just wanted to throw that into what you're saying because you're saying support black business, and obviously that's the way to go, and that's part of what I was gonna say too.
Mm.
But then those guys have to, or we, whatever, however you want to put it, you have to be consistent as well because at the end of the day you're delivering a service, and if I'm paying for X, I want X.
No, I
Ask
hear
you a
you.
question,
I
right?
hear you, but guess what? There's not only one black, there's not only one Caribbean spot.
No, maybe.
You know, there's several.
Oh, no.
So if
100%.
hold up. So if I
100%.
have a choice, if right now I have a choice and it's get good food on Monday, Wednesday, right? At the Caribbean spot. And then I know Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is gonna be bad because they probably running out of material or whatever it is. Go to the next Caribbean spot. Go to the next spot.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Please,
Go to
please.
the
I-
Suya place.
okay,
Go to the Suya
Bro,
place.
okay, well what if the one that's consistent is owned by John? Then who am I supporting?
Because yeah, they're usually
Then the one
they're
that's-
usually Guyanese
then the
or
one-
they're Chinese.
Then the one that is exactly the one that's consistent is
Or
owned by
usually
Joe.
Chinese. It's usually
And the one that's not consistent is owned by Jordan.
yo, the one that's
You're gonna support
the
Joe
one that-
anyways.
the one
Let's
that-
say
the
it's
one
someone
that's
else.
consistent is usually Chinese
Like,
or
then
Guyanese,
what am I
to be
doing?
honest.
Am I now supporting white
Trust me,
business?
trust
Bro,
me.
I'm going to where the service is good.
So
Like that's where it ends.
here's my question for both.
So
of
then
you.
we have to be
Sorry.
consistent as business owners.
Okay. Have you told the cook
Oh.
or the owner, have you
Oh
said,
my
my man, your food was amazing on Monday and Tuesday and
You're an
Wednesday.
idiot.
Okay?
Oh,
What
no,
about Thursday and Friday?
What can you
The way you
do
say it
to
makes me
keep
laugh.
it,
Okay.
to maintain that level?
I have a question. Sorry.
Have you asked that
I have a question. Wait. I have a question.
Yeah, I have.
So wait,
I spoke to them.
if the person,
They gave me free food for like 2 weeks.
so if the person,
Okay, so, and are you going to continue going
Oh, I
there?
still go there.
Okay.
I was just speaking to the point that you made.
Yeah.
guys, I have a
But in my
question.
example, I did go there. and I
Yeah.
complained.
If the food is not consistent, okay, and you know, because I'm using yours thing,
Mm.
and you know that it's because of the fact that because of the fact of money, and then them not getting
Yeah.
the money.
Yeah,
Now,
follow the
now
line
the
of
question is, are we still supposed to go? That's not answered.
Are we what?
Are we still supposed to go?
If it's bad,
But it's because of money.
Okay.
But because
but how do you know it's
But
because
we
of
don't
money?
Let's just say
we
we
don't
know.
know
Let's
whatever
just say-
reason.
let's
We're
just
just
say we
following
do
the line
know.
of thought.
Let's just
Just
say
the
we
line
do
of
know. Let's
thought.
just say we do know.
Okay, okay.
That's what I'm.
So this is
I
going
want
to
everyone. I want you to answer
Yeah.
Joey.
and this is going to what I was going to say because Joe asked what's your message, right? For me, it's very simple. Make as much money as you can to the point where you can take a risk for your people. For me, that's if you ask
That's the
me.
message.
Yeah, if you ask me what is the simple way, from my own ignorance, because I'm not even like a victim of racism out of ignorance for the same reason. So I'm not even the best person to say. I'm just voicing out because you're offering the platform. Make as much money, obviously legally, right? Make as much money as you can to the point where you can take a risk on your people that are in survival mode, and hopefully they do the right thing. That's all I can say. Because if it's hard, but then that's why you have to make enough money. Because if I have 100 grand and two people walk up to me, one is black, one is white, and they have brilliant ideas, and I need to choose, and I'm weighing everything else, and everything is the same, and I need to go down to some point. No, I'm not going to say because I'm not like that. I'm very neutral, but based on media and based on X and based on reality and based on everything that's going on, might lean towards the white side.
Okay.
Right?
Based on what?
Oh, based on influence. Just influence of
Yeah.
how life is set up and
We all have biases.
Exactly.
We all have biases.
Exactly.
I
We all
probably
do.
have more biases
Exactly.
than anybody in this room.
No, everybody
Okay?
does to some extent.
My first and last name are Italian. Bello.
There you go.
Right? My middle name is all African, right? Bello Amalasoye Isa Oluwatosin Bello. I read and write in Arabic. Okay? If I meet a guy who speaks Arabic, I'm gonna be like, oh brother, right?
Of course.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kifak? Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well, right? Like I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm good. Milwain, where are you from? Oh, I'm from this place. There's a bias. I want to work with that guy because
Of
he's
course.
either Muslim or he speaks Arabic, right? I talked to a guy on the phone.
I did
He's
not know you could speak like that. That was amazing.
right? If I'm speaking to a guy, an Italian guy, he's like Bello. He thinks
Tosin
I'm
will call me up before
Yeah.
and be like, yo, give me some words. True story.
True story, right?
It happened 2 weeks ago.
Right? I'm saying so. Same thing. If I speak to a Nigerian guy,
Oh no, I'm the same.
right? If a
Oh,
Nigerian
sure.
guy, oh God, how you do now, right?
Of course.
I speak pidgin. Somebody speaks to me in Yoruba. I'm speaking Yoruba. So there's biases. You're always going to have an affinity to something that is familiar,
Yeah.
no matter how you look at it. But the thing is, right now, going to your question, if the food is inconsistent, am I gonna go there? I want to eat good food.
Based on the fact that you know they're not getting enough money.
Yes. So
Like no, that you know.
Yeah,
this.
that's
So
what
if
I'm
I
saying.
know-
Let's just say I know this.
Yeah, hypothetically.
if I know they're not
It's
getting
very
enough money,
hypothetical because
if-
you
yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah,
You
yeah,
would
yeah.
never know.
No,
that.
that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. No,
Well,
very
hypothetically, if I knew that they weren't getting enough money, what I would do is I would try and get more people to come to the spot
Okay.
on the days that I know that are consistent.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Just send a good
Because
message.
I'm not gonna slander my name to bring
Go on.
Or I'd bring them and be like, look,
some
this
fuck
thing-
water
oh,
food
yeah.
from you.
So check this out.
I'm buying a house for you anymore.
No, I'm not gonna-
So check this out. Follow your line of
Yeah.
thought, right? More affinity, you feel, I'm gonna go there. I have the same, right? Because I was spread out, language and shit.
Exactly. You see a guy who speaks Brazil,
Oh,
who
Portuguese,
speaks
Spanish.
Portuguese, Spanish.
Colombia, we can go on and on. Same
My
example.
man, my man's looking at his phone. His phone's making sounds like tranquilo. That's like, what?
Yeah, so now check this out. The reason why you go with something that's familiar is because what is familiar is perceived as safe.
That's true.
If it's perceived as safe, I'll go because
That's the only reason why.
two things that we do, right, is either we move towards pleasure or away from fear. And this applies to humans, this applies to insects, this applies to plants. Bro, plants are also trying to survive. They lean towards the sun. Like, that's basic survival for everything that
Nature.
exists. Exactly. So now, if by default, if somebody said the other day that the police, the guy in charge said on TV that he was being followed by a security guard in the mall. I don't know if you guys heard that story. Somebody was telling me. Point is, if I'm a security guard and in the mall, there's 100 cases of theft a year, and out of the 100 cases, 95 people are black. Bro,
It's confirmation bias.
when somebody walks black, dressed in whatever way that has happened in the past, of course I'm going to follow the guy. I'm not racist. I'm just doing my job. But then you're just a simple black guy walking and you feel that you're being looked on. And that's when it becomes messy. And that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, but in closing, what would you say? No, this is you got the mic. Okay, so what would you say in closing? Right now, all of this stuff is happening. We have a platform. We have momentum. What do you suggest that we should focus on as a community in this time? And I'm giving this to either one of you.
Hey,
What do you feel?
I'll respond on that.
Okay. Yeah. What do you feel that we should do as a community, and how can we exploit this this opportunity? I know it sounds terrible. I'm not saying that, but yeah, I'm not diminishing what's happened, but I'm saying, but I'm applauding the fact that we've mobilized, we've created awareness, we have the ear of the media, we have the ear of the politicians, we have command of industry right now. Starbucks as an example. So what do we do with this?
I
What do we
wouldn't
do
say we
about
command
this?
industry, but
Two things. Speaking to Starbucks, most of the people, like, obviously got boycott, but not just by black people. And that's where awareness comes in. Okay. Not just black people boycott them, like everyone else did. And then obviously the buying power is there. But just speaking to what you said, I lost the thought, man. I was gonna give you the answer, but you kept on asking. I lost it. It'll come back. Go. It'll come back. Because I was gonna say something specific.
so for me, I think it just comes down to basic mental health and dealing with that. To be honest, I think most black people are going through mental health. I don't think we address our needs, and which won't allow us to be resilient, to be resilient and to be healthy. I think everyone's focusing on so many different friggin' things. Like, yes, money, but you can't get money. I know this because I was depressed. You can't get money depressed. Some people can, but again, like, that's Disney. To me, like, I'm in Rexdale. I'm in Rexdale all the time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm privileged. You're privileged black. Know that. We ain't normal black just by living here.
By the way, we're in Vaughan, Ontario.
Maple Thorns.
But you've before you go, I don't even need it. You lived in Windsor, you lived in Waterloo, you lived in Markham, you lived in Maple, and a bunch of other places.
That's true.
So you've seen it in a bunch of places.
Yeah,
You've only been in Toronto for how long? How many years?
2.5, 3 years.
2.5 years, and in Canada for.
Same.
And you've seen in Winnipeg a little bit of stuff too.
Yeah.
And you've been in pretty much Maple your whole life.
I've been Maple my whole life, but then just working so different.
Yeah,
Rexdale.
GTA, you've seen. We've all seen the GTA.
I've been everywhere, right? From Rexdale, I worked in Rexdale, and then I worked in Newmarket. You know what I mean? But that's where I always go back to the empathy thing, because the Newmarket, I never knew until I worked there. That place is hood.
The new one?
Government housing.
Brother, they will rob you.
White and black.
Both. They will rob you. The white people are going through pretty similar stuff as us. That's why I always go back to mental health, resiliency, and building ourselves up that way. Once we show love and respect to each other and just know that if you know, brother, I'm here for you. Brother, I'm here for you. I'm telling you, that will make the money come. Until we build up the empathy, until we build up the love for each other, until we build up all this
Safety in
mental-
that relationship. Like even you today, like you went
So
there.
action. So
Jordan, hold on.
let's talk
Jordan
action
can-
step.
yeah.
Action step.
He networked.
What are some resources that people who are going through mental health can?
I can help that.
Yeah.
That can work.
Yeah. So what are some resources? Because one of the big things in the black community is it's like, walk up. Walk up, right? And straighten up. You know, it's like if something happens, it's like
Don't
just be
address
strong.
it.
Don't address it.
Yeah.
Be strong, right?
Mhm.
And going back to what you're saying about mental health and depression. Depression is literally you're being compressed.
Mhm.
You're being held down, right?
Mhm.
And it's difficult for many people to, or most people, to be able to be productive when they're addressing mental health. For me, I got to be honest. I'm not as I'm a little bit more ignorant to mental health
Mhm.
because of
And that's okay.
because of the way that
You're a
the way I
confident
see-
guy.
Yeah, because the way I think, I'm always thinking like I'm expecting bullshit, right? Like I'm expecting there to be, I'm always expecting that there's gonna be an obstacle. So my mentality is different in that sense. So when somebody's going through an obstacle, I'm like, man, I went through all these obstacles. You just come, right?
So those are the
But
people that
that's
tell.
the thing, that doesn't help black
Yeah,
people
yeah.
though, because now I'm not going to come to you. You can never be my mentor. I'll never
Because he
want you
doesn't
as a
see
mentor.
things the same way you do.
Yeah.
And it's not even see, it's just you're not giving me that love and empathy that we need to give our brothers and sisters. This is what we need. We need to be like, yes, this shit's against you. Yes, you're gonna fall
Okay.
down. Yes,
But then
we're
we'll
gonna
go back to the same thing. How
Action
easy it
steps.
is to give empathy when you're in survival mode.
No, I know.
And that's where it becomes messy.
No, I know.
And that's why we need to make money. So that we get out of survival mode. That's the first step, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree
Because-
to a certain extent, but this is the thing.
Yeah.
The thing
I'm a
is that
social worker, that's why I know that- that's
so
why
there's
we
two.
use-
So listen. So I'm really happy that Jordan brought that up because one of the things is that socioeconomics, your socioeconomic standing has a lot to do with your ability to help others,
Bang, bang.
right? And being
Time and money.
Yeah, time and money, right? The more money you have, the more time you have to help to uplift. The more money you have, the more that you can, more resources that you can deploy towards a problem. But at the same time, for you to feel safe, for you to have shelter, for you to have esteem has a lot to. And I'm going back to Maslow's hierarchy needs. For you to have esteem, you have to. Mental health is a big issue, right? And I've been in a situation where I've been in situations where I felt like, oh my gosh, who do I talk to? How do I go through this? How do I navigate this? Like, if you don't know what you don't know, and I'm speaking something I'm going through right now. I'm in development. I'm trying to build buildings and stuff. And the thing is, there's not many black people who are developers. Actually, I only know two in Canada. Right? So now I'm having a problem and I have beef with one of them, right? And I have beef with one of them and I don't know the other one. So I'm like, damn, who do I talk to? And then I'm like, oh shoot, and the only people who I can speak to are consultants who I'm paying. So if you're paying somebody, I'm biased, right? Or I'm getting an RFP, I'm asking people to quote me on something, they're biased. How can I get
Third party.
a third party
Mm,
to
yeah.
help? So I'm literally in a bubble. So now I'm like, shit, like I'm making mistakes, I'm overspending, I'm losing money, I'm making money, and I literally don't know where the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm just by myself with my little right. So trial and error. So for me, that was like that was I was like bro, I paid $130,000 for an architect, 130 cash, like not finance from the bank, like my earnings from that year, just like paying this guy. And homeboy was like, oh, you're a young black man, and you're paying for that. You're gonna do this plaza. I don't believe you. So I'm gonna show you bright and shiny things, but I'm not gonna give you anything you can actually use until you pay me the entire project, and then I'm gonna start working. So I literally was paying, thinking I was moving forward. Now when I go to the other trades and the people who are actually in the industry, they're like, bro, he didn't give you nothing. He gave you $30,000 worth of work. You got
hustled.
You got hustled. And I'm like, how did I get hustled? But he gave me all of this. And he's like, so now I go and I'm trying to get a quote. And the guys are like, we don't have enough information to quote you. And I'm like, oh, you're stupid. I'll go to the next person. 7 out of 11 people tell me I don't have enough information, and my architect's telling me I do, and I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Your architect black?
No, architect's Cuban. So now I'm thinking to myself, like, what the hell's going on? So now I go to another person, and then I'm pissed, right? Because I spent the money.
Didn't get your money's worth.
I didn't get my money's worth, and I thought I was propelling, and I find out that I'm like, I forged, like, basically something I took one of my other buddies who's a developer, took him 3 years, I did in a year. But I got to that point, and I stayed at that point for 10 months. Nothing, no progress, nothing. And I kept throwing money at it, and it didn't go nowhere. So I was feeling depressed because I'm like, fuck, I don't have anybody.
No assets.
I just spent all my money and I'm not moving forward and I don't know what to do. So I get it. At the end of the day, coming back to the whole idea is that mental health is an issue that's often swept under the rug, right? And
Especially for black people.
so yeah, for black people and support. And the thing is that and I think part of the reason that and I know it sounds terrible, but I think part of the reason why George Floyd died is because even when he was asking to breathe, that officer believed that he was still strong. He was still resilient.
100%.
He thought.
You think
that,
so?
I know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And the
You
thing
can
is
tell
that, and
by
the
the
thing,
way, like,
yeah, and the thing is
Nah,
that,
I don't
and
really.
the thing is that a lot of people, including black people, feel that the other person on the other side that is the same is the same pigment. The other black person, he can take it. He can take it. He's good. He walk up. You know, you're good, man. You're good, man. Come now.
Whether it be black or white, just as a man and as a big man,
Yeah.
we're kind of looked at. And you said me like, whatever. I play ball with you two anyways, and I've gone against guys bigger, smaller than me. And sometimes you bite your tongue, you go to work. You know what I mean? Like whether it's you had some things with him in the pain, whatever. But as a man, and like I said, we're all big guys.
Yeah.
We're perceived, and we have in the world, whether you're white or black, have to be an imposing figure, tough. People can beat you down. They can call you whatever words, racist.
Yeah.
You're a bad father. You're a bad person. You weren't raised the right way.
You have to just take it.
You failed in life, and like you have to be a rock.
Yeah.
And not everybody is able to.
And that's just black people.
Yeah, and like I said, even for me, because I've gone through things. Not to say greater or lesser, but as a man, and obviously as women too. But you're going through life, you said, whether it be at a bank, in real estate, whatever it is, and you're like, come on, man, like you're a big guy, get through this.
Yeah.
You've obviously had this and not had the best.
I can give you two stories of quickly of two stories. So one story is there's the same household, but fuck it. Me and my cousin. Okay.
Yeah.
My cousin, single mom. My mom, single mom. My mom had 15, his mom had 18. Okay. Now this is where mental health comes. Again, because just in case my mom sees this, my mom's a great mother. I'm gonna be very honest. She struggled. She didn't. There were just some things at 15. What do you mean? Of course, dude. There were some major mistakes that she made. Okay, with me and my grandparents. I call my grandparents mom and dad. Up to this day, I'm like, I hate that I call you guys mom and dad because I want to call my actual mom. You guys are. That's embarrassing. You guys you're embarrassing me. Mental health. So all these. Again, that's one example. Rashane, my cousin, his mom was there. No one could say a word to him. If I touched Rashane wrong, she would have threw me through the wall. So she didn't have to worry about that. Survivor. Rashane never had to worry about Survivor. Rashane graduated from university.
Ryerson. You played on our team.
Ryerson.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one?
And
Rashane.
that's
I don't know.
why. And that's
You
why I
probably know
believe
Rashane, no?
you don't
Played
know.
on
You don't know
team
Rashane.
before
If
you
you
did.
saw him, you'd be like, okay, I do know him, but you don't know him like that. But so that's why I believe so much in mental health because I literally in my house I saw us. My mom's probably making more money than Rashane's mom at that time, to be honest. Like you know what I'm trying to say? But due to the fact that Rashane's mom's like, no one's fucking with Rashane. No one's doing this. You're gonna do this. You're great. Oh yeah, you said my son can't go to university.
Yeah, man.
You're putting my son into university class.
That happened to my son.
And you're making sure there's you're making sure that there's a tutor for him because this is your damn job.
Yeah, my mom did the same.
Do you know, right? My mom didn't do that for me, and that's what I'm saying. Mental health is the drive force. But I want to hear your opinion because it's different than mine.
I was just gonna say quick,
Yeah, sorry,
and
go
you can answer that. Do you think that everybody in your or whoever, someone else in your position, whose mom, let's say, didn't knock down the door and say you're doing this for my son, do you think that everybody comes out the same way?
Almost. Because shout out to Chris.
Yeah.
Shout out
So
to
many stories about it.
yeah, like most of my friends, to be honest. But that's what I'm looking at. You know, like Tulsi, you're different. Aren't you looking around and noticing that? Like, okay, Sion and Claire, great, but let's be honest. Like, Wiggins helped them. Like, you know, I'm not saying that in a diss way. I'm not saying that in a diss way. I respect their hustle. I respect what they're doing, but they got help. So I don't count them, to be honest.
But what's Cleon doing? He's just doing.
He's doing he does his own business.
renovation.
Well, he no one helped
Renovation.
with his renovation thing. So Cleon's different, right? But he probably like once you have money and then your brother wants to do
Sprinkle
something,
a little bit, sprinkle,
it's a little
yeah.
bit easier, right? So again, no knock, no nothing. But you are different, my brother, because I struggled and then went to college. Chris struggled. He's just finished college now, and that's amazing. Like, you know what I mean? With 4 kids, the man sick.
Yeah.
But I can list you people from King City around our age, and almost all of them struggle, like a big struggle just due to mental health, just due to the support. Every single black person, though, I'm gonna be honest when I say that, almost every single black person that had that mom that was like, yes, life sucks, yes, it's racism, but I'm here for you and I'm gonna ride for you no matter what. And I'm really gonna ride for you, because that's what white parents do. Mom, I broke the door. I'm gonna beat you, but pay for the door, and it is what it is. And then they're doing the test. They don't. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We're dealing with. Yo, I didn't put the chicken. I remember it'd be 4 o'clock p.m. and my mom would be like, "Yo, did you?